as always, your anchor here is Matt Canik, and for this afternoon session, I will be joined by one of my best Scrabble friends, Geoff Thevenot. Geoff, how are you doing today?
Oh, doing very well, thanks. I've been really looking forward to this. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on. I'm excited to reconnect. For those of you who don't know, Geoff used to live in Austin, Texas, and was my club director, and we go way back for that. But Geoff, a very solid CSW player, now living in the Chicago area in the United States. So we're very happy to have him and his expertise. Our plan on the stream is to continue riding the Will Anderson hot streak. He is 12-0, 2 games ahead of the rest of the field. We have a few players nipping behind him at 10-2. But as long as he's got this run of domination, we plan to continue showing him on stream. On tap, we have Will versus Sammy Okosagah. Sammy representing the U.S. as he lives in the Baltimore area, but hails from Nigeria originally. And he's had a great run at these Worlds before. We're looking forward to another run from him here. But can he cut down the buzzsaw that is Will Anderson? We'll find out shortly. Round 14, we plan to feature a matchup of two more Americans as Will Anderson to face David Whitley on board one after that. Can Will start 16-0, or did I just put the commentator's hex on him? We'll find out shortly. Has anybody ever started out 16-0 at a Worlds? I don't know. Chat, enlighten me. But I'm excited to watch this. Geoff, what are your thoughts on the play you've seen so far, and what do you think is coming up for the rest of play today?
Well, I mean, obviously, Will has been on an incredible hot streak, and that's no surprise if for Americans who are familiar with Will Anderson's play in both TWL and Collins. I mean, he's just so consistent, such a good decision maker, such a good analyst on the fly, plays well under pressure. There's really not anything you can point to and say he doesn't do it well. But it is the pressure doesn't do anything but increase as you go later in this tournament. So, I mean, every win that Will can bank now is going to keep him up there longer, but he's going to have to keep delivering at this very high level in order to end up in the final two. And Sammy is an extraordinarily strong long-term player in his own right. The long history of success at the highest levels of Scrabble. So I think we are due for an excellent matchup here.
Yeah, I am so looking forward to it. And Will, as Geoff touched on, a bilectual player, if you will, in that he just played the Scrabble Players Championship in the same same ballroom in the NWL Lexicon, and now playing CSW and 12-0. I think it is ridiculous how players are able to keep two separate lexica straight. I'd be remiss not to talk about Nigel Richards doing that, but also learning and mastering the French lexicon. That man is an absolute freak. But Will, bilectual and impressive, dominating so far this tournament. Geoff, you also for a while were able to keep two lexica
for quite a while. Yeah, I mean, I guess up through around 2014 or so. For about a 5 or 6 year period, I was playing tournaments in both lexicons, and yeah, I can speak to the fact that it is difficult. It does require some extra study just to keep them separate, and it's very easy for things to slip out if you don't maintain that. But Will has been doing it for a lot longer than that, and at a lot higher level than I think I ever managed. So I can speak to the fact that that's a challenging thing to do, but if you stay engaged with it, it can be done. It's just not easy, even for a top player to do.
Yeah, and I'm super appreciative that Will's able to do that, because I appreciate both the NWL and the CSW content he's able to put out. If you haven't followed Will on any sort of online platform, Will's got a big presence on YouTube and on Twitch. Consider giving him a follow there. Search his name up, Will Anderson Scrabble. I believe he goes by Wanderer15 as well, Wanderer, Wanderer. So give Will a follow, check some of his content out, share it around the internet. Again, y'all know I'm going to get on the soapbox over and over and over. I want Scrabble shared all over the internet as we showcase the best players in the world for the next 5 days. And Will certainly one of them, and his content some of the best out there as well. So find Will if you haven't yet. And I know a lot of us watching right now are only here because of Will and the stuff he's put on.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't he? He was just awarded the Person of the Year, was he not, for his outreach efforts? And a well-deserved award.
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
all
The
the things he's
NESPA
done, not
Person
just
of
this
the
year,
Year.
but for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, well deserved for Will, doing everything he can to grow the game, promote the game. He's been involved in school Scrabble and promoting the Scrabble online. His work with Scopely and with Scrabble Go instrumental as well. It's hard to think he came from competitive Boggle originally and thought, I know all these words. Maybe I can step in and play some Scrabble too. And, at first, very solid on the words, but he's picked up more and more and more of the strategic nuance in this game as well, and now become not just a word machine, but one of the top tactical players out there as well. It's been so fun to watch over the past decade or so as Will's become just a giant in this game, and well deserved on his Person of the Year award as well.
Yeah, absolutely agreed.
It looks like they are making some kind of announcements in the playing room. Of course, we want to get y'all Scrabble action just as quickly as possible, but players want to be focused on their rack. We want to eliminate the outside noise and the distractions so we can focus on our top level Scrabble play that we're going to see. I like Sammy's beard. Last time I saw him, I don't feel like he had this beard, but
Yeah,
we got the
I
name
was noticing that
Samson. He's
too.
got the
Yeah.
facial hair now. Maybe something to be learned from that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there is some history in Scrabble of bearded men doing well. So maybe, I mean, so maybe he's calling back to that and saying, yeah, I mean, I can't speculate. People grow beards for many reasons, but
yeah. But yes,
that
the greatest
happens
of
to be
all
true.
time.
It certainly can't hurt.
No, absolutely not. I'm sporting a small beard myself. Maybe if I grow it out long enough, in 2 years, I too will be a world champion. Just kidding. I will forever be.
There's a few other intermediate steps, I imagine, but yeah.
Grow facial hair? Question mark, profit? Something like that.
Yeah, learn words, learn strategy. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Those
what
are the
goes
two,
in
I
the
think.
question
Yeah.
marks. Okay, well, maybe that won't happen. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I think that's a struggle for all of us.
Right,
even
but
with facial hair.
and Geoff, I understand you've already had a long weekend of Scrabble, right? Jeff hosted an unrated tournament, so tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah. We have a small group of friends and expert level players up in the Wisconsin and the northern Illinois area. So we had some people over. We had a 6-player field for Collins. Our organization, because Scrabble needs more organizations, is the Collins Association of Midwestern Potluckers. Let's see, features myself and my wife Melissa Routson and the Ranke twins and Bill Rexhausen and Eric Ziegewide from the Milwaukee area. So we get together and eat a lot of food, particularly cheese, and play a weekend worth of Scrabble. We had an 11-game event. I managed to come in first, and the Ranke twins, I think Charles was second and Thomas was third this time. So we had a great time.
Yeah, sounds like a good time. The Ranke twins are super fun. If y'all haven't had the chance to meet or interact with them, two of my favorite Scrabblers as well. They are identical twins, both about 2,000 level players from Wisconsin. And man, I've actually got one of them coming on stream to do commentary for us tomorrow. So y'all are in for a treat there. But they are both absolutely hilarious, a dry wit, a sense of humor, like unparalleled in Scrabble. I love them both. Y'all are in for a treat when I get one of them on the mic as well.
Yeah. Our camp tournaments have gotten more fun because they've started attending. That's for sure.
For sure. And the potluck, I understand, involved a lot of cheese. Geoff's wife, Melissa, no stranger to cheese. I feel like every week or so she's posting on Facebook she's won another giveaway to get more free cheese. And always
there's a spreadsheet. It would blow your mind if you saw it. I can attest to that. But one other thing we do, and I should mention this, is that we offer Collins only foods, like foods that are words that are only valid in Collins and not NWL. So Melissa, who's an amazing cook, made feijoada this weekend.
Oh yeah, the Brazilian dish.
Yeah, we've done that once before, and it turned out tremendously delicious. So she did it again, and yeah, we had like Wensleydale cheese. We had. We've had any number of different Collins only delicacies.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, it's just kind of, we have a lot of little thematic things like that make our get-togethers fun. We try to do it like a couple 3 times a year as schedules align. So that's
But yeah, I think membership to join the camp unofficial organization requires that you cannot be lactose intolerant, or it would be a big old bummer.
yeah, that would be tough. I mean, we'd be sympathetic, but that's a challenge. Hey, it looks like they might be getting ready to get started here.
Yeah. All right. Well, I am looking forward to high-level play. We got the handshake going. Sammy to play first in this game, and we will be underway in just a few short minutes. Again, this round 13 of the 32-round World Scrabble Championship. Players vying to get into the top 2 spots, as the player in first and second in the standings after 32 rounds will be cordoned off into a best of 7 final matchup. We'll have all of that streamed right here on Twitch. And Sammy off to the races, ERST, an incredible way to start, and he'll finish it out. 8 all in to go with it. Bingo's aplenty on this first turn here. And I think in this situation, you just kind of find one and put it down, right, Geoff?
Yeah, I mean, there's some positional things to think about. Like you might want to place consonants next to the double word squares in the middle, or double letter squares in the middle. But I mean, this option is probably as good as you're going to find. There's, I think 5 or 6 anagrams in this. And so, yeah, it's a quick 66 points, and we're on our way.
Yeah. But Will has drawn into burrito through the T, and that will be game.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
unreal. That's sort of an inside joke for those watching internationally. Burrito was a fun after-hours game played frequently here in the United States, where the points don't matter at all. The first person to play the word burrito just wins the game, and multiple alcoholic beverages typically consumed in the process of playing burrito. So if this were a game of burrito, Will with a very promising first draw and would win the game. But alas, they're not playing burrito. They are playing Scrabble. And will have to find a way out of this rack. That blank certainly providing promise to him, but the clunky RRUV going to inhibit him from bingoing, and not a lot of good options. Maybe Will looking to play off the V. He'll have VIRTU for 10 through the T and Antler. Maybe looking to play off the B instead. BRU exists under Antlers, AR and NU for 12, or Burn to the N and Antlers for 12. What do you think about here, Geoff, in this situation? Do you play off the V and the U?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the first, those are 2 of the most problematic tiles. The duplicated R is possibly another one that you would be a little bit of a concern, but yeah, the V and U are the weakest of the 2. I think what you want to do, you want to set yourself up so that, you're playing, not only are you playing off your worst tiles, but, the board will have, spots for you to bingo comfortably when you improve your rack, which you almost certainly will next turn. But yeah, I mean, but before I do anything, I would still look for a bingo, because you never know. Sometimes these racks will have sort of diamonds in the rough, and, it's pretty awesome to find one of those, especially if you're on stream. I don't know that we have one here.
No, yep.
Yeah, I don't see, it's close to a couple of things, but so it looks like he may be RV blank. The V is usually a pretty bad tile, but having the blank gives you a little more flexibility to deal with it, I guess, especially because an E draw is fairly likely, and that might help improve it a little bit. But so I wonder if he's thinking of, let's see, something through the, well, yeah, I mean, you mentioned brew. He's looking maybe Urbia.
Yeah, Urbia. So that is going to hold on to the V, but it's impossible to break up both R's, the U, and the V, aside from playing VIRTU through the T and Antlers. And that play takes a big back E hook to allow Sammy a lot of points next turn. So Will opting for Urbia here, perhaps a little non-standard, but we'll see if it pays off for him. RV blank, a nice leave, and this is going to open up a double-double line for him, as he's got great stuff. Sammy responding very quickly here with Aeneas, Aeneous, out of a rack of 6 vowels. So a quick play here. And Geoff, what do you think about that one?
Yeah, I mean, you have to get through a lot of tiles from that rack, probably. I mean, I guess the other things you could think about would be things like EAU, or the AUE is also valid in Collins. So, like small dumps, but then you're still even keeping, I think you're still keeping 3 vowels and 1 consonant if you do that. So it's either something like this or exchange. And I would rather do this, score a few points. You're drawing 6. So, and he's playing with a lead too. So
yeah.
That's
This to obstruct a lot of lines, knock out that double opportunity.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was like, it makes. I mean, if Will does bingo through one of these things, there's a reasonable chance it's going to open up good counterplay on the right side. If he starts more like in the middle of the board with a bingo.
Yeah. So a neat play there. Maybe the other option, EUOUAE. We've seen that word come up with the V's earlier, but EUOUAE through the U in Urbia only scores 7 and opens a board up. So I like this play from Sammy. And Will now looking to respond. He's trying to overlap, trying to find double doubles through the R and the E disconnected. That would be awesome and high scoring. Quackle showing me there are no double doubles through the RE, but there is a very nice 6 overlap bingo to the right side of ANES. There is also a bingo using the R and the E. It's a crazy word I've never seen before, but it will not double. It will end with the E in ANES. So I'll see if chat can figure out these options. The 6 overlap, I feel like, has already been spotted. The 9 also spotted. Geoff, you probably know this word, one of the few people. Portreeve, P-O-R-T.
Yeah, Portreeve, yes.
Yeah, do you have any idea what that means?
I think it's probably, a reeve, isn't it like some sort of sheriff or officer? So maybe it's something to do with like a port official or something. That is a total guess. I am not an expert on anything like that.
You are exactly correct.
Right.
Yeah, it is a historical official in England or Wales who had political, administrative, or fiscal authority.
All right. Well, go me then. I was
very good.
Surprised to get that right. Okay.
For those who don't know Geoff, he has probably the most impressive word knowledge, not just in terms of sheer anagramming capacity, but just knows words. You've competed, I believe, in a bunch of adult spelling bees as well, or at least you used to back in Austin.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, in Austin, I did that for many years. It's been a while since I've done that, but
so looking forward to picking your brain and tossing.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
What a cool opportunity right away.
Well, I love diving into the ocean of words, and and I've always done that. And it's one of the things that attracted me to Scrabble initially. I think if we were playing with number sequences or chess pieces, maybe I wouldn't be here. But we play with words, and that's probably part of why I am.
Yeah, absolutely. And word lovers flock to this game for a reason as well. All sorts of cool stuff. Portreeve here for Will. Vetoers, the 6-tile overlap to the right side of ANES.
Yeah,
and another high-scoring bingo. Overteam, OVERTEEM, through that first E in ANES, slotting the V on the double letter score. Lots for Will to think about here. I expect him to spend time looking for these double doubles, but alas, not in the cards for him.
Yeah, there's just so many possibilities here. This is, like you said, an excellent time to spend that extra time. And it looks like he's going with Overteam.
Overteam it is, yeah. 78 points for Will. Maybe not seeing or maybe bypassing the vetoers on the right side.
I think if he'd seen vetoers, I think he'd have to play it, though. That just looks so strong in terms of, it gets back the lead. It controls the board very well. It doesn't give a lot of things back, which Overteam does. It opens the triple lane over there and opens up the O right below the double letter in the H column there that Sammy could use well if he has the right tiles. But again, that's not there's a lot of possibilities to go through, and you only have so much time. And I think that's the tough thing in a situation like spotting vetoers. It's like either you see it right away or it becomes unlikely that you do just because you have so many different candidate plays to evaluate.
Yeah. So not spotted there by Will. I imagine, like Geoff said, he would have played it had he seen it, but still 78 points instead of the 81 for the overlap. Nothing too shabby for Will. As Sammy to respond, he has 3 playable bingos here, a pair of 7s, Yonders and Rodneys both play, making SO above Overteam, and the 8-letter Drystone through the T. Rodneys and Yonders, 78 points, Drystone for 72. Geoff, would you take the points here?
I think so. Let me see that. See, we have Rodney's for 70. I mean, sorry, what was the first play you mentioned?
So Rodney's and its anagram Dorney's playing on
Right.
top, and Drystone through the T for 6 fewer points. The T and N.
Yeah, I would take the points, I believe.
And Sammy electing to do the same, wasting no time again. He's dropped 2 bingos now in 3 turns, plus a lovely 6-tile valve dump. Sammy to pull ahead now 155 to 92 over his countryman Will Anderson, who has a pretty awful post bingo draw.
Yeah.
EIIMUY.
Wonder if he's thinking of like, well, let's see. I mean, with the IMI separated, I wonder if he's thinking of mighty over through the T and over team, but
probably Immy, IMMY through the M.
Yity, I should say. Yeah.
So Yity, W or YITIE through the T and over team, or Immy, IMMY through the blank M and over team.
Yeah, there we go.
Great options for him. Immy, though, EEIU as a leave. It's pretty awful.
Yeah. I like Yity here, actually. I don't know that I mean, Immy's okay, but I think, leaving some more places open on the board is probably good for Will in this situation because he's behind.
Yeah, no, I agree. This is going to open the board nicely, both short and long term for Will. Perhaps one other option, just UEY, the useful little 3-letter word above Rodney's on that triple word. EIIM, not the best leave, but if you're worried about a big counterplay in that spot, perhaps you address the spot now. Though Will doing a nice job keeping this board open, giving it some life. We already saw a big comeback against Conrad Bassett-Bouchard in a situation where he looked to be in a lot of trouble, and he's trying to keep the board dynamic to make another comeback here. Sammy now, ACDHTX, AACDHTX rather, on his rack. He'll have several high-scoring options available. If he wants to cash the X, hexact through the E and over team. If he wants to hold on to it, HAD plays above Rodney's for 43 points, HEAY and DSO. Geoff, are you looking to get rid of the X here, or perhaps hold on to it?
I could say there's like an XI spot on the left, like besides Urbia, that could get hit, but I wouldn't necessarily hold on to it for that reason. If you can score with it now, I don't think there's a reason not to do so. Hexact actually, it doubles the word and it triples the C, but had is a fine play too, I think, so let's see what.
So you had coming down 43 points as play passes to Will, who has an awesome bingo here using that blank M. You see it, Geoff?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, my dog should get on the stream. I have a Siberian Husky. This a similar word, Malamute, a word you can spell multiple ways. I almost adopted a Malamute instead of a Husky, but MALEMUTE for 80 points if Will spots it using that blank M. Otherwise, emulate, the 7-letter word, plays for 63, forming EE alongside YT.
Yeah. I would expect Will to find those, definitely.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and he's already lined it up, so I think we're going to see it. Yep, there goes.
I'm honestly surprised Will didn't play it a couple seconds faster, to be fully honest, but Will taking his time, being deliberate here, and Malamute comes down 80 points, and all of a sudden, folks, we have a 2-point game. 196 for Will, 198 for Sammy, who looks to pull back ahead out of a rack I cannot see right now.
Yeah, I think it was I know he had CAXT and he drew F. What was the other? I can't see it either.
Yeah, we will find out shortly.
Yeah. I noticed that Malamute opens up a couple of potential hot spots next to the E's there, and we'll see if Sammy has the right tiles to take advantage of that and log a good, solid, medium scoring play there.
Yeah, FAX looks to be that.
Yeah, but it doesn't leave well, but it's one possibility that he can do.
Yeah, Sammy with actually a little bit to think about. Maybe not going to take the time, though. FAX alongside Malamute, but that J can play nicely above Rodney's right now. Jam or Taj both play above it for 42 for Jam, 41 for Taj. But Sammy cashing in the X now, perhaps looking to hit the J next turn instead. And he also shuts down this board a smidge.
Yeah, and to be fair, he's that spot is not terribly likely to be blocked next turn. It certainly could be, but even so, he probably should have some decent scoring options if he draws any vowels, which, well, let's see. He hasn't.
does.
He does have an A. Okay.
Yeah, that A saves him.
So Taj or Jam or Jaw next time. If Will could play something like Zoo.
Will's going to play Zoo for 63 points, forming ZE.
Oh, I see with ZE though. Yeah, that's never mind.
What a key time for Will to draw the Z too, as two different E's alongside triple letter scores. Basically, he had Zoo blocked 4 squares higher, but he also gets to play it alongside Malamute. And I think really nothing else to discuss here for Will. You've got to play Zoo and not Zoa, right?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, the leave difference is considerable. It's funny because at first I didn't even. I mean, if I'd have looked at the board, a second time in that corner, I would have seen it. But ZE is something that I think a lot of Collins players are still getting used to because it was introduced more recently. So, but yeah, Zoo is a lucrative play, and it's I think it's clearly correct in that situation.
Yeah, you've got to undouble those O's, ZOO, despite the numerous backhooks it takes. I think has to be the play for Will here, and that's the one he makes. And look, undoubling those O's, yielding big dividends as he has rotated, and probably an 8-letter bingo next turn. But back to Sammy, he's got 2 good candidate plays here. Of course, Jaw above Rodney's will play. That's 46 points. CMPT, a leave. Also CWM and Zoom, a decent option as well. If he wants to hold on to that J one more turn, E draws into Jake. Looks like he's choosing neither one, but instead knocking out a high-scoring spot. Pact coming down, holding JMW. He will almost definitely not bingo next turn, but likely to score a lot of points with that leave of clunky tiles.
Yeah, I think I can see what he's thinking there too, because I mean he's very likely to draw some vowels here, and Jaw, or Jam or something like that on the upper left is still fairly likely, and it takes away a spot from Will. That there are enough midpoint tiles there that Will could do some damage there, so he's taking that option away from Will.
Yeah, and this play going to work out nicely. Will, again, with the nice pull rotated, the nice balanced draft, but no playable bingos for Will on this board. So he's got to decide how aggressive he wants to be. Plunking a T, Zoot and TA scores 15 and holds rather well. ADEORT working quite nicely with the available floaters in the word antlers. But DATO above Rodney's 26 points. Not too shabby itself. Geoff, do you think you'd be looking to play short, perhaps Zoot or TOZE, and keep a great leave, or maybe score a little bit more on top of Rodney's in this situation?
I think I would be, at least my first thought is I would probably be inclined to take Dato. I mean, 26 points is significant. And RET is a very strong 3-letter leave that also is going to work well with the floaters on the board, at least at first glance here. It's yeah. I mean, I think I would play a little bit deeper. Of course, there may be a better third option that I'm not seeing yet, but.
Yeah, I think TOZE for 13 or Zoot would be the ideal fishing play.
Yeah, you'd keep trade or something like that. But I mean, Will's lined up Dato. I think he's. I don't. Those 10-point fishing plays. I've always tried to coach myself out of doing too much of because, I mean, that's one of the things I think a lot of players when they start, they learn about how bingos are built, and then that sort of becomes a big part of their approach, and then you almost have to unlearn that a little bit as you progress up the ranks, at least in my experience. Yeah.
Got to continue the scoring assault. So DATO is indeed coming down. And a part of this consideration, you have to consider the unseen pool as well. Perhaps a little bit too much left in the bag to show you right now, but there are 6 unseen I's, only 2 A's and 2 E's. So that's going to be rather interesting. And I draw would be nice for Will with this leave, but I trouble could be coming for these players in the next turns. IIJMPW. The rack for Sammy now, who has to be a little disappointed. He's been holding the J to hit above Rodney's for a while, and now will not get to, but quickly dropping down Wimp for 30 points. once again retaining the J. He has been holding on to this for quite some time, since Malamute came down, and he will hold it for one more turn. They're scoring 30 points. Rather nice for Sammy. The tie game is broken as Sammy surges ahead 315 to 285. And Will missing all of the I's in the pool, but AELOORT on his rack still will not bingo this turn. Options to fish the O, MOC, POT, and OO in option. There's also the really awesome Telefax extension for 38, but that holds AOOR and is really hard to spot. I expect to see probably a 2-0 play here. What do you think, Geoff?
Yeah, I mean, OO is such a nuts and bolts play in Collins, because there's so many. Bingo leaves plus bingo leave 5 plus OO is usually a bingo killer. So it's often that if you have like in this case with Will, if he plays off OO, he has later on his rack, which is very bingo prone, and so I think he's looking for just sort of the best place to do that. And on a lot of Collins boards, you can sometimes find 15 or even 20 points with two vowels like MOC and POT in the corner there.
Yeah, that OO play.
Right. That's a good place to drop OO.
For sure. We'll go ahead and display the unseen pool now. 30 unseen tiles to Will, 9 vowels and 21 consonants, and 5 of those vowels are I's. This is going to be wild for the end of the game.
Yeah. Well, yeah, given the pool, I'm not sure I would be in a hurry to do this. I mean, I think I still would do it, but I would have to think on it a little bit because Will could be in a situation where he has clunky consonants and is desperate for a vowel that he doesn't have. He can't draw from the bag. Though getting I's is, and at least one I would work well with the lead he has now.
Yeah, one I would be great for Will. 2, maybe not so good. The Q, absolutely not what he was looking for. That's going to be a bingo killer for Will as well. Sam, again, with the time pressure, JIBB, 31 points comes down. He'll pull ahead 346 to 308, and Will close but no cigar on the bingo draw as he has pulled the Q. He can play it. 11 points, just QI to the I in Wimp. He can play longer, use the U in Urbia, and make low-scoring Q plays such as Quail, Equal, or just Qua. Or a Telefax, still an option on the table for him should he see it, but likely just a QI for 11 here, right, Geoff?
Yeah, because you're holding on to Relate, which is a very strong leave. Especially, you're likely to draw another consonant to that. You'll have a nice balanced, 4 consonant, 3 vowel rack. Or at least that's the likelihood. And QI also, if Sammy has an S, if you play the QI like in Wimp, it's going to neutralize that possibility, which is not a bad thing because Will doesn't have an S, so it takes
WOP.
Yeah.
Tough turn for Will. And Sammy has drawn into fielding or defiling using that E on the board. So Will looking to keep things open, been trying to groom his rack towards a bingo, but Sammy, despite the ugly draws, going to beat him there. Though I'm very curious to see what Sam draws out of this bag as this pool gets uglier and uglier. All right, QI comes down. Will's going to need a nice pull here. He'd hate to miss a bingo a second time. And Sam, DFGIILN, going to be bingoing through that E, either defiling or fielding. I got to check if these words take an S. Fielding certainly does, the baseball term, right? But does defiling as well? And are you certain it doesn't if you're Sammy? So Sammy opting to play fielding, setting up, a little less volatility. If there's even a 1% chance defiling is good, if you're Sammy, I don't think you can play it here.
Yeah. I think fielding is fine here. As it is, Will looks like he's going to be able to respond with a bingo finally.
Yeah, finally. The K, not what you're expecting to pull.
Yeah, but he does have
one bingo.
Yeah. Oh, it's interesting. He's trying something else here. I mean, Will still have that bingo, but...
Yeah, Will to bingo regardless, as tier-like valid on his rack. Will certain to see that bingo. It's quite high probability. But Sammy, back and forwards, fielding, defiling, perhaps trying to get a tell from Will, perhaps trying to figure out which of these options is better. But defiling does come down. It does not take an S. And I imagine if any player tries it, especially in 5-point, it will certainly be challenged. Tier like a 74 point response for Will, and we will see there's still a blank to be drawn by one of these players, and Val's at a strong premium in this bag.
Yeah, this post bingo draw for Will is going to be absolutely crucial because I mean he's still going to be behind. So
yeah, so Will's looking for Sammy to pull 6 or 7 consonants and no blank. Let's see, N N A W G R or G H rather.
Yeah. You can do worse.
For if you're Will, that's going to give him life yet in this game after tier like comes down. That'll meaning the 10 tiles Will could draw CEG IIR SUV and a blank. We'll see what he pulls. I don't even want to talk right now. I just want to see what Will draws. This is
this is the suspense.
Yeah, he'll need a blank. He'll need some vowels, probably the S as well. What is it going to be, folks? Will Will lose his first game at this tournament, or will he pull impressively, incredibly? VEGI, some vowels, CI, and he leaves the blank in the bag.
Yeah.
Ooh. So this likely to be the end of Will's streak, unless Sammy doesn't empty the bag here and Will gets one more chance at a miracle. Wow. We've seen that a lot on stream. I feel like the blanks come out either on the first turn or are the last tile in the bag. I've seen that over and over, both here at WESPA and at the SPC before this. Wow.
Yeah. I would think, Sammy, because he doesn't have the blank and, Will has a pretty good chance of having just drawn it. He's going to try to take out anything that could be even remotely threatening as a bingo lane. So, even something like non through the A, it obstructs the I in defiling, it obstructs the G as well. He just wants to. That's sort of the nightmare scenario for him because he's got the ability to probably outrun him with like his midpoint tiles and things like that. Assuming Will doesn't bingo, so that he's looking to prevent the worst case scenario.
Yeah, exactly. So plays like non through the A, Juan, HWAN through the A, that is a word that does not take an S, would do it as well. But you're right, Sammy just looking to obstruct as much as he can here. And he should hold on to win and put an end to the madness that has been Will Anderson's 12-game winning streak.
Yeah, wow.
I wonder if there's a potential maybe that we don't see Sammy empty the bag, if he is afraid perhaps of a bingo in a crazy spot. But no, it looks like WHANG coming down maybe. Are there any, like cursive is in the bag natural? Oh, but putting the S on it.
Yeah, I was wondering whether he was going to do that because I don't think he would want to leave that hook there in case, Will did have a bingo that fit.
Yeah. So that is a great way to obstruct every part of the board.
Yeah, that does the same thing and gets even a little bit deeper into he may, and I think he probably does want to take all the remaining tiles at this point because if Will hasn't drawn the blank, he can get him a shot at it. And
that W too, you have to be worried about 9-letter out bingos through that I and whatever letter you float, but that W so difficult to do anything with. Sammy pulling the blank anyway, he has to know now this game is won, ANSU blank on his final rack. And we've seen it, folks. Will Anderson is in fact human. You can in fact defeat him at this tournament, and Sammy Okosagah the first to do it.
Yeah. Well, that's not a surprise. Sammy's a great player in his own right. So, you would expect, especially in a world championship event like this, there's so many players with just so much ability that It's really, I think, rare and for anybody to go on a truly long streak, and not have, at some point, run into a little streak of worse luck or bad luck, and not be able to overcome it just because the opponents are so consistently able to capitalize on that situation. And Sammy certainly has done so here.
I think the coolest part of this game is look how much time Sammy still has on his clock. You knock off the top player, the player in first place right now, and you didn't even use half your clock. What a flex from Sammy Okosagah.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, he has played this pretty quickly.
Will thrown in the towel. Vice is going to come down, and this is his best end game sequence with the tiles Sammy has. Sammy can go out in a number of spots. The coolest outs, the 2 highest scoring outs are pretty awesome. He can score 25 on this outplay. I'll see if anybody in chat wants to look for that.
I haven't spotted it yet.
Yeah, it's going to back hook JIBB.
Yeah, I was looking there first. Yeah, I just haven't.
Yeah.
That looks like such a good spot.
So the 2 outs, NASUTE through that T, or make the blank a Q, Quants, QUANTS, both 25 points.
Yeah.
But Sammy taking his sure win, going out with Jaunts here. And there it is, the first loss for Will Anderson. Sammy Okosagah to win 456 to 426. Let's cut to the overhead mic, see if we can catch banter from these players.
Yeah, I was so close to playing Hexact right here.
Oh,
yeah.
With this rack?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Keep the D.
Yeah, it seems good. The X is good.
Yeah, I didn't see the point because of free float.
It's very
That's
easy.
a 50-point play.
Yeah, easy to hit. Unless you score very well and you keep the X.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. All right. I knew it was going to happen.
At some point.
I knew it would happen.
Yeah, at some
It's
point.
long overdue, in fact.
Yeah.
We agree on the 30 point spread there, right? Yeah. 2-6. 5-6. Okay, very good. Nicely done. Oh yeah, over team.
It's good.
Oh, I know. I just I'm curious if I
Okay, other moves.
missed anything else. So I have OB, RTE.
Which other spot were you looking at?
That's the only. Looks like that's the only bingo through the E. And then I was looking at double doubles, maybe if I could find one there.
That's gonna be tough.
Port Reeve.
What's that craziness?
Port Reeve. I don't think that PORTREEV doesn't hit all the way.
Wow. That's good to know.
Yeah, I never heard that word before.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Urbia left RV blank.
Oh,
So I don't think I have anything there. Yeah, there are no 8s with that rack.
it's on set good. I just didn't want to do anything crazy because I was going to do it to lose this card.
I don't think so. No. Yeah, I don't think that's good.
Yeah, I don't want to do
Yeah,
anything
no
crazy.
need to mess with
Yeah,
that.
there's no need.
Yeah, Johns is fine.
So we can just wrap this up.
Yeah, sure. All good.
All right, so Will saying it better than anybody else could. I knew it was going to happen at some point. Will dropping his first game this tournament will still be in first place at 12-1, but he has finally been beaten. This is the World Scrabble Championship from Las Vegas, Nevada. Again, on the mic, I am Matt Canik, joined this session by Geoff Thevenot. We are going to cut to a brief intermission and bring you the next game on board one, which will be Will Anderson against another American, David Whitley. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a few minutes.